at this hour, and this was a series of events here. A stolen van crashes into a SEPTA bus, and that bus went right inside a bank. We know 4 people injured.
Let's get up to Shayna.
Well, certainly something out of a movie. So I'll just kind of walk you through it because there's a lot of pieces when it comes down to this crash behind me. You see the SEPTA bus really just damaged, not only damaged, but also right into the PNC Bank here on Rising Sun Avenue. And this was the ending of it all. But all of it starts with this video. So we want to bring you to it because there's a stolen vehicle involved. It's that gray Hyundai that you see there. We're told by SEPTA police here on scene that car was driving at a very high rate of speed down Rising Sun Avenue, and as a result hit a minivan that you're going to see next in the video. You can see a total damage there. Both of the drivers appear to be injured. In the first car, we're talking about that stolen car, the passenger was completely not only unconscious at this point, but bleeding extensively. We're told he was rushed to Einstein Hospital, where he's still unconscious at this time. The driver of the stolen vehicle also fled the scene. We're told there was a different car that was actually following that first initial car, that stolen car. And when the driver got out of the car after the crash, he hopped into that Volkswagen and then sped off. So we're talking about multiple people injured. That passenger, again, in that stolen vehicle, still in critical condition. The person that was hit in the van is the 31-year-old business owner. He was trapped inside that minivan, and we're told that there was some money that he had inside that van that was stolen as well. So police now investigating that part of the whole crash. So we're talking about one stolen car that hit a van, which then hit the SEPTA bus, sending it into the PNC Bank behind me. So such a mess this morning. All of it captured in real time on the cameras right on the corner of Rising Sun Avenue and Uras Street. And it's just been such a mess for detectives to really piece together at this point. You'll be hearing from Chief Inspector Scott Small about where the investigation stands and what makes this so particular.
Now, the bus was in service, and we're being told there were 3 passengers on the bus. However, all 3 passengers got off the bus and left. So they didn't even stick around as witnesses.
All right, so with those witnesses still at large here in the Northeast detectives are really piecing together exactly what happened based only on cameras alone from real-time cameras. So right now, Elle and I on scene, making sure that the bank here is structurally sound as of right now. It's considered structurally sound. SEPTA, of course, on scene, as well as PICO, making sure that everything electrically is flowing well on Rising Sun Avenue. And it's just going to be something that they have to piece together literally with those cameras. They're hoping not only they can find those witnesses that were on the SEPTA bus, but also get in touch with the driver that fled in that Volkswagen. Guys.
All right, shalom, y'all. It's your brother Yeshaya. Back again, man. You know, it's been quite a while. I already know. It's been some months, but, you know, it's been a very eventful, very spiritual, very, you know, stressful as well. You know, just a lot of things going on right now within my life, not only my wife as well, my kids, so the congregation, everything, the camp and everything. So we just been, you know, very busy as of late. You know, I'm also teaching another class too, so just decided to get on here and talk about some things, man, because we had the same type of situation happen to us. So I'm gonna share that with y'all, but I'm gonna open up with a scripture. It's the book of Salakia. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 15. It says, "Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him." Now, this is one thing that a lot of these kids, a lot of these young black men, these young black and Hispanic men in Philadelphia are lacking. They're lacking fatherhood. They're lacking role models. They're lacking discipline, right? No one can correct them but the police at this point in time. You know, only very few will take heed to an adult's authority and actually listen and, you know, take it to heart. You know, And a lot of these things that are happening, a lot of these car thieves, they're kids, 15, 16, maybe younger, 12, 13, young black men that's doing this, right? And when this first started, a lot of them were just taking the cars, just joyriding and everything, and don't really take nothing out of it. Just take the car just for shits and giggles, and just to get from North Philly to West Philly, West Philly to South Philly, or North Philly to South Philly, whatever. Just to drive around and then ditch the car once they run out of gas, or when they crash, ditch the car. It's an adrenaline rush for these young kids. These young boys don't know no better because they don't have elder men to teach them a damn thing. They don't have fathers to teach them a damn thing, right? They don't have the role models to show them that that's not the way to be and the things to do, that they can be great. They can be great in this time now. Not great in the sense of only playing sports or picking up a damn ball, because in this kingdom, they, that's the only way they value you, unless you're entertaining them. But you can be the next inventor, the next scientist, whatever it may be, the next physicist, the next person to come up with a cure for cancer. I'm pretty sure a black woman just so-called black woman just came up with a cure for cancer. And y'all could be so powerful as young black men in this city, man. But yet the cycle continues, unfortunately. Right? I'm going to read that again. Proverbs 22:15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. Right? That rod of correction is that discipline, that godly discipline, man. From a father to tell his son, don't be out there with them other young boys going to steal cars because it's going to end you up dead or in jail. Right? These young boys they're not having the dead or in jail talk anymore. The dead or in jail talk is damn near extinct. That's not happening in this city at this point. Right? It's not happening. Let's go to another verse real quick. Let's go to Proverbs real quick. Proverbs 13 and verse 24. It says, he that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. And that's very telling, because a lot of men, we live in this new age where parents think it's just okay. They want to conform to Esau's way of doing things, Esau's way of discipline. I don't want to beat my kids, and we can just talk to them and blah 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 blah. Oftentimes that's not working, man. That's not working. It's not working half the time, right? Do what the Lord tell you to do. You spare the rod, you spoil the child, right? Because if you not discipline him, where's he gonna get his discipline from? The streets, the police, right? These other covert races that secretly hate your sons and daughters out here, that they may have to work for. You understand what I'm saying? So again, it's very hard to train up these children when they're being raised in a dysfunctional household, or not a household according to the scriptures, according to what God ordained it to be. You understand? And let's just bring that out real quick, because it's very important that we come back to our original purpose, man. As people, that's the only way we're gonna heal this thing. It's the only way, man. Right? Let's go to 1 Corinthians 11:3. All right, it says, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is Yahweh. Now, this word will tell you that the man and the woman is equal, right? Y'all have equal authority, joint custody, all the other stuff. If you want to get into the specifics of child support, all that stuff. in custody court, right? They want to tell you that, your woman has just as much say in a home as the man does. You understand? But what does the Bible say? It says, but I will have you know, 1 Corinthians 11:3, that the head of every man is Christ, or Mashiach, and the head of the woman is the man. Now, we live in a society where they're trying to turn men into women and women into men, but that's not the topic right now, right? The topic is having a stable home according to the scriptures. You understand? The man is supposed to be leading the household, right? I believe there's a statistic out there. One of these brothers brought out that, let me see what he's saying in these comments, right? That, when a single father, the chances of a single father's sons going to jail is significantly less than the single mother's sons going to jail. If you get what I'm saying, rather if the mother's raising the young boys, he has more of a chance of ending up dead or in jail than him being with the father, him being alone with his actual father, right? And that's very telling, man. Because again, your father's not gonna let you, I'll speak for myself. I'm not gonna let my son walk in my house or go out there and be a damn niggard all day and be a lowlife and a loser out there. I'm not gonna allow that to happen, right? I'll do what I'm supposed to do as a father and train him up, right? Because the scriptures say, train up a child in the way he should go. After that, if your child, decides to go off, then, that's up to the Lord. That's up to him. You did your job. But if you are a stern father, you're a role model to your son. Because some men, they just have kids and they just out here with it. They want to be they son's friends or the big homie, dap him up. What's up, bro? We're not doing that. It's yes, dad, or yes, sir. You understand? That's not, and that's one thing too, man. These young kids have no respect no more. Everything is bro. You could be talking to a young 15-year-old nigga out here. Young black man out here could be talking to a elder man, asking him for direction, or asking him where something is. 80-year-old man, yo, bro. I'm baffled when I hear that. Every time when I hear it and I see it, and these young boys tend to do it to me sometimes because I'm getting older in age. They say, yo, bro, and I'm like, what do you mean, bro? It's sir. Like I'm twice your age. The respect is completely gone in this city from our young men towards our elder black men, because again, it only trickles down. Us not taking care of what we had to take care of, as older men, going out here knocking up all these women and just leaving them, 9 times out of 10, they either had a baby or 50-50. They go to the clinic and take care of it. Both is bad. Because if you don't want to be there for your son, he going to turn out to be just another niggard out here stealing cars like these little kids are, right? Killing people, you understand? Killing innocent people, taking people's money, stealing their possessions. You understand that they need, man. People work hard for stuff. People work hard for the things that they have. But you're gonna let your son come out here and be a niggard, and you just go roam free, and you be a niggard yourself and end up, in jail. It's just you just completing the cycle, man. That's why we need to come back to the Bible and the truth of the Bible and the order of the Bible for the so-called black family, the Israelite family, man. You understand? Let's grab some more scripture. All right, let's go to the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. All right, chapter 30 and verse 1. It says, he that loveth his son chastens. Salakia. I'm gonna read that again. Forgive me. Sirach chapter 30 verse 1. He has, he that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. Now you see that? It says you cause him to feel the rod often, because like we just read in Proverbs 22, folly is set in the heart of a child, man. They bound to go out because they don't have no direction yet. You can't just have a baby and just say, you know, go out in the world and figure it out, nigga. No, you can't do that. You have to train up your children to understand the world, understand their purpose, understand who they are in this world, understand how they're viewed in this world. You understand? You have to train up your child, man. You have to discipline them, because if you don't discipline your child in the home, your young black son, the streets is going to discipline him. And the streets can be via the police system or the so-called justice system, right? And they're not going to have no damn mercy, man. They don't give a damn about you. They don't give a damn about your son. You understand? This is why we need this book of the law, man, because this is a book of life for the so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native American man, woman, and child. It's only going to make us better in these times now as a community for each other. You know, not no religion. The Bible has nothing to do with religion. It's about a people, an actual people that exists today, which are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right, back to the scripture. Sirach 30 and verse 2, it says, he that chasteth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. Right? Because again, if you chasten your son and you train him up the way he should go, you're gonna have joy in him. Right? You're gonna have joy in him having respect for you as you get older as a man. You know, there's a lot of young brothers out here, even my age, don't give a damn about their father. You know, don't even have the privilege to even know who their father was, or they do, and they don't even care about him. You know, yeah, I know where he at. You know, oh, fuck that nigga. You know, that's what they say. I know plenty of brothers like that, man, and that's sad. You know, I don't give a damn about that nigga, man. You know, I know where he at. He up there, 52nd and whatever. You know, but they have no respect, no honor towards their own father. Right? This is why you have to be in your son's kid's life regardless of what happens, man. Right? Regardless of what happens, you get into a bad relationship, whatever it may be. You have to be in your son's life no matter what. You understand? Because the scriptures say he that doesn't take care of his own is worse than an infidel. Right? You have to take care of your own, man. All right, let me grab that real quick while I'm here. Right? Let's grab that in 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. It says, but if any provide not for his own, and specially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel, man. Right? You denying the faith. You say you believe in God, you're a Christian, blah, 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 blah. And if you want to bring up the Muslim card, the damn fucking Arab man, the Arab man card, alhamdulillah, you know, you wanna speak Arab hymns that got nothing to do with your people, right? Being a part of these murderous Muslim gangs out here in Philly, you know, that tells you to recite the Bible. So you can't pull that. It points the Quran points you back to the scriptures for definite understanding, for concrete understanding, right? That's what the Quran does. So if you want to pull that card, you know, it ain't going to work. You have to take care of your own kids, especially as a young black man in this world, right? Let's go back to the scripture. Sirach chapter 30 and verse 3. It says, he that teaches his son Salaki. Actually, no, let me read that verse 2 again. Something I wanted to touch on. It says, he that chastens his son shall have joy in him and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. Right? You shall speak highly of your own son. Right? You shall be happy. Yeah, you know, my son doing this, he doing that, he taking care of this, and he in school, and he found a nice wife, and you know he got a kid. You'll have joy of all your son's milestones that he reaches as he gets older. You'll have joy in that because you took pride in having a son and having some offspring. That's a blessing, man. To have a boy, to have a son, right? I just see it as you worthy to continue your lineage. But again, some people lineage gets taken out, right? Some people, they father died and the kids die. The young men die. That man lineage is over, right? You can have all the daughters you want, but that's not going to continue your lineage, right? That comes through the seed. So that's an honor in itself, right? Now, you have, so like it says, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. Right? Verse 3, it says, he that teaches his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Right? Now, before his friends, meaning, you know, in the same sense, you know, you'll have joy of your son. And the first part of that verse says, he that teaches his son grieve his enemy. Now, if you teach your son the right way he should go, not to be out here stealing cars in the city of Philadelphia, and taking people's, you know, source of transportation to get to and from work. You know, a lot of these young kids, you know, they taking girls' cars. You know, they take the car with the damn kid in the backseat, a 2-month-old baby in the backseat, and they don't realize it until the baby make a noise or they start crying. You know what I mean? You're going 80 miles an hour down a rural area, blowing stop signs with a damn infant in the back of the car. You know, this shit is wicked, man. Right? We should be teaching our sons not to be doing that. Right? But it says, he that teaches his son grieveth the enemy. You allowing the so-called white man, you're giving the so-called white man reason to kill your son, man. When you don't give a damn about him, or you act like you don't care about him because you don't care about the mother you had him with, you're giving the so-called white man free game on your child. Because again, he's going to do what his peers do, right? It's a song I listen to often. You know, a young brother made it in the truth. I'm going to bring his name up real quick, right? I listen to him often. He say he's just a product of his environment. All right, let me see if I can bring it up real quick. And my phone want to act slow. Let's see. His name is Zaybled. Right, it says a forgiver, a forgiving heart. I believe this is it. Let me see. But basically, the song, he said, I'm just a product of my environment. Let me see. I'm gonna let y'all hear a little bit of it. I know it's gonna be a long lesson, but it's been a while, so
I'm just a product of my environment. From a city where all the kids know is violence. You'd rather move on to someone else than to try again. You just a product of your environment. How can I blame you? Cuts way too deep and try and maintain it. You just seeking peace of mind. Maybe in another life will give it another try. I am not the same no more. I'm not into playing games no more. Yeah, all them foolish things I did say.
All right, so, you know, Young Boy made that song, man, and there's, you know, a lot of us can understand it and sympathize with that, right? Because a lot of us are a product of your environment. You know, your parents don't give a damn about you. Your dad don't give a damn about you yet. Your aunts, your uncles don't give a damn about you. Who you gonna go to but your peers? You know, maybe the young girl that's going through the same experience on her side. You know, y'all gonna, you know, comfort each other. So this is why we need to be in our kids' lives, man, in our young sons' lives, right? Now I meant to grab a scripture up here. Got here, Salakia. Right, I'm gonna read verse 4. Sirach 30, in verse 4, it says, "Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he hath left one behind him that is like himself." Right, especially if you're an honorable man, you're a respectful man. Okay, you teach your son's gonna turn out to be like you, right? And oftentimes, a lot of us has heard, if we grew up or been raised by a single mother, we've heard this sentence I'm about to say, and it's very popular. You just like your damn father. You look, yeah, just like your damn father. I've heard that before. You just like your dad. Even till recently. Some of our women be very bitter to the day they die, man, about a man that they had a child with. And we hear that very often. The women don't know how that made us feel, really. Because what we do, we just sit there, look at her, shrug the shoulders, just had a dumb look on our face. I mean, that's my dad. What the hell do you expect? We're going to turn out to be like him regardless. Right? That's my father. I'm his seed. Right? I am him. You understand? I'm going to read this precept real quick. Proverbs 19:18, it says, "Discipline your children," in the NIV, "discipline your children, for in that there is hope. Do not be a willing party to their death." Oh my God, the scriptures is cold, man. I'm going to read that again. Proverbs 19:18 in the NIV. "Discipline your children, for in that there is hope. Do not be a willing party to their death." You understand that? The NLT, let's read the NLT. It says, "Discipline your children while there is hope. Otherwise, you will ruin their lives." This is ruining your child's life. When your son and daughter, you see them on the news stealing cars, you're ruining your son and your daughter's life, man. That's what you're doing. Right? That's what you're doing. You ruined your son and your daughter's life because your son and your daughter's out here. Your son and your daughter's out here, or your young son and his friends, his peers out here terrorizing people. It's an epidemic right now. The amount of Kias and Hondas being stolen because for some reason this car company that Moab has, their security system that they installed is very cheap and very futile. They didn't put too much money into, keeping the car safe. When you spend your hard-earned money on it, it's easy to steal, right? But that's neither here nor there. This scripture is cold, man. You want to be a willing party, a willing participant to your own son's death, man. Do not be a willing party to their death. Right? Let's see what some other translations say. What did the GNT say? It says, "Discipline your children while they are young enough to learn. If you don't, you are helping them destroy themselves," man. Oh, man. I like that one. Right? Because again, the saying goes out there, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But that's getting younger too, man. At this point, you don't even have to be an old dog to be set in stone in your ways. Wickedness is increasing in these last days, right? Evil men and seducers are waxing worse and worse, just like the scriptures say, right? Waxing worse and worse, man. Let me grab that real quick. 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 13 says, "But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived." All right, so it's just getting worse and worse out here, man. For these young brothers, right? Let's go back to Sirach chapter 30, in verse 4. I'm gonna read that one more time. It says, "Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he hath left one behind him that is like himself." Right? Now, if you teach your son the right way, you'll leave a legacy, right? The mother of your son will be proud because he turned out to be just like an honorable man and a law-abiding man that you were if you pass away, right? When you die, your son will honor you. He won't curse you in your casket at the damn funeral or just not show up at all. You understand? Right? It says he'll leave one just like himself. Just like you, man. Your son is a little you. Why wouldn't you have pride in that? Why would you want a little you out here being a murderer and a niggard out here in the streets, terrorizing this community? Because he ain't doing it to the damn Edomites. We got an entire college in the middle of the damn city called Temple University. Very little to none happened to these Temple kids. You understand? These young boys are doing it to productive or seeming to be productive young men and women, a little bit older than them, elder women, that's trying to survive like they're trying to survive. It's a sick thing that's going on right now in the city of Philadelphia, right? So, all right, 30 in verse 5, it says, while he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him, and when he died, he was not sorrowful. Now, you see that? Your son won't be sorry because he know he's going to honor you by continuing your legacy, by continuing to be a stand-up man, for the law of the Lord. He's going to continue to do that. Right? It's not going to grieve him to continue your legacy. And man, I've been committing to act. I've been just acting this whole time. I couldn't wait for that nigga to die. Now I can be free. I can be a niggard now. No, man. That's not what you want your son to say and be like. You got to instill this discipline and this honor within your son from a young age. Right? It says, while he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him. Rejoicing, your son will rejoice in you. Right? It's a beautiful thing to have a young boy to love you and look up to you, man. I got young boys. They're not old enough to really sit down and have an adult conversation with, but I got young children. I can't wait for that. I'm a little anxious about it too because I know the world that we live in. But I'm still gonna do what I have to do as a so-called black man in America in this captivity, man. Right? But it's a great thing. It says he was not sorrowful. So like it says, and when he died, he was not sorrowful. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends. Right now, if your son loves you to death, because a lot of our people, I love you to death, I love that man to death, he'll avenge you. Let's say you get out there, you get killed, man. Even young niggas out here being wicked. Some men got their son, they out here doing the wickedness, and their son following right behind them. They in the same car doing the drive-by. The father and the son. I believe if I'm not mistaken, a father and a son killed Nipsey Hussle, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. Right? I might be wrong. But I know it happens out there. But it says he left behind him an avenger against his enemies. Now, we got many enemies, man. The so-called black man in America and Hispanic man got many enemies, right? We got enemies between each other. The next black man hates you, right? The so-called white man hates you. The Asian man, the Indian man, East Indian man. You understand? Your women hate you, right? The white woman hates you. The justice system hates you. You understand? Nobody really loves you besides your own children when you're doing right by them. You understand? And it's a sad thing. But if your son loves you, he'll avenge you of your enemies. Right? You get killed out there, your son gonna want to kill whoever killed you. Regardless of who it is. As he should. right? To avenge your father. That's what you should want to do. You should want to avenge your father, especially if he was a honorable man. Well, he died, by the hands of a criminal, somebody innocent, one of these police officers out here, with a uniform and a badge, a criminal. That's what real fucking criminals, right? Forgive me, Salakia, right? Your son gonna want to avenge you of that blood, and I will hope my son do that for me, man. I have that spirit in me. I have that Christopher Dorner spirit, and it's a sleeping giant right now inside of me. For those of you who have listened this far, into this lesson, the spirit, if you look this man up, Christopher Dorner, I have that same exact spirit within me, and it's begging to get out, right? It's fervent within me. And the only thing restraining me is His word. If the Most High never gave me this truth and chose me out of the world, it would have happened already. I would have been the next Christopher Dorner. I promise you, I lie to you not. But yet I'm here. I'm teaching the scriptures. I'm trying to edify the sheep and feed the sheep, and teach y'all how to raise your kids, and not to succumb to Satan's devices, man. But I have that spirit in me. A lot of young men don't. They have that spirit in them when it comes to their own brother. I don't have that spirit in me when it comes to my own people. I don't want nobody touching my people. You understand? Especially the damn devil that the Bible speaks of. They can get it any day. That's why I just beg the Lord to keep me out of that situation, man. But that's neither here nor there. I'm going on a rant here. Let's go to back to Sirach, man. Let's finish this out, because I don't want to make this too long. Sirach chapter 30. All right, Sirach chapter 30 and verse 7. It says, "He that maketh too much of his own shall bind up his wounds, and his bowels will be troubled at every cry." Right, now let me get that. Let me get that in GNT. Oh, Salakia. Forgive me, y'all. One second. Oh. All right. What was that? Verse 7 says, "But anyone who spoils," read that in GNT. It says, "But anyone who spoils his own son will have to bandage his wounds." Can you see that? Now let me see what this ashes here. Will have wounds, or is going to be hurt. Cut, clean, and simple. Anyone who spoils his son, you're gonna be hurt, man. Right? You spoil your son, you give him whatever you want. Look at 50 Cent's son. Right? 50 Cent son is ungrateful as hell. Right? He took the ideology of his mother, even up in his late and early 20s. Spoiled young man, complaining about $6,000 a month, free, nigga. What city? You don't have to live in New York. You choose to live in New York. You get $6,000 a month free, bro. People don't even make that a month, nigga. And you being ungrateful, but your father, he has the money to do it. And to give you more. You probably would have got more if it wasn't for your mother. Right? It says his heart will stop every time he hears a shout. Yeah, man. That's what's going to happen. But you going to have to bandage up your wounds if you spoil your son, because your son going to go out there. He going to be a niggard. He going to spend all his money, and he going to come back to you for help. And it ain't going to do nothing but hurt you, because he either going to go out there, get caught up with this wickedness of this world, end up out on drugs, partying, drinking, getting knocked up. Knocking up women, or getting knocked up. Salakia, even that too. We live in a time where that's happening. You know what I'm saying? Your son out here damn laying with men, man. That's wicked as hell, you know. Cause you got all liberty, the things you have. Listen, when you have money, substantial amount of money, you have access to things you never had access to when you were just getting by. I'll say that. You'll have things that you never had access to. Women you never had access to. Right? Places you never had access to. All because of money and spoils. You understand? So, along with giving your son much possession, you got to teach him how to use it wisely. So, you can't just spoil your son, man. You can't just give him everything he wants in his life because he'll take it for granted. You got to teach your son how to honor and respect things, that everything don't come easy. Everything's not going to just be handed to him in life, especially as a young black man in this so-called country. This so-called America. This spiritual Sodom, man. This place is wicked as hell. It's going to devour your children, right? Let me grab a quick precept real quick. All right. Got a quick precept here. 20 and I want to X out this damn tab. 20 and verse 20. Now watch this. I'm going to bring this out on the previous verse. Proverbs 20:20 says, if someone curses their father or mother, their lamp will be snuffed out in pitch darkness. Right, snuff. And we use that word in another context, but I don't know, that's just a Philly thing, but that used to be a word that we used, right? Snuff, I'm gonna snuff that nigga, right? It says their lamp will be snuffed out, meaning your son gonna die, right? Because that's when we go back to the law, when we go back to Exodus, that's the, wow, Bible open right up to it, man. All praise, that's the spirit. All right, when we go back to the law in Exodus 20, let's read verse 12. It says, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Right? Honor your father and your mother. Right? And I believe that was, which one? Let's see. Was that the one with a promise? Let's see. I believe that's the only one with a promise. Salakia. One second. What's that say? 121. Forgive me, y'all. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's according to all. It says, honor thy mother. Exodus 20:12. Honor thy mother and thy father. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Right? That's you breaking the law. If you don't honor your mother, your father, you cursing your mother, your father, it's over for you, man. You gonna be snuffed out. As the scriptures say right here. Extinguished. His lamp will be extinguished. The Berean Standard Bible says, whoever curses his father or mother, his lamp will be extinguished in deep darkness, man. Right? Your lamp gonna be extinguished, man. Let's grab that Matthew 15 right here. Right? Because precepts coming out. Matthew 15:4. KJV, it says, for God commanded, saying, honor thy father and thy mother, and he that curses father or mother, let him die the death. You're going to die the death if you don't honor your mother and your father. Now, some of us don't have honorable mother and father. Some of us had niggards and niggettes as mothers and fathers. Right? Now, does that still mean you cursed them? No. Right? Because they gave you life. The Lord gave you life ultimately, in general. But you still have to honor your mother and your father. That don't mean if they come back and sober up and, son, I'm sorry, or daughter, I'm sorry for being this way when I was young and dumb, blah, 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 blah. You got to have the heart to forgive them. You got to have the heart to forgive them in that moment and, show them that you're willing to accept them, in their maturity. Even though when they had you, when they weren't mature, when they weren't spiritually mature or physically, right? You got to have the heart to forgive them. Right, now let's go back to Sirach. Let's go back to Sirach, chapter 30, and verse 8. It says, and horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful. You see that? Let me read that in the DNT. What does that say? It says, an untamed horse is going to be stubborn, and an undisciplined son is no different, man. It's no different, right? You try to train up a damn horse. You listen. Have you ever seen a human get kicked by a damn horse? It's a rag doll. You look like a rag doll, right? That's a strong animal, right? One of the most iconic animals throughout history, right? Source of transportation before the vehicle today, right? If you try to discipline an untamed, you try to discipline a wild equestrian, it ain't gonna be no way. You're gonna need a machine to discipline that. You're gonna need a damn bio robot suit to tame that damn animal. Can't no physical man tame, hand-to-hand combat with a damn horse, right? In the same sense as, your son is going to be the same way, right? That's why the young women, they overcompensate when they want to be a single mother and get all this testosterone and try to beat their son to death because there's no father in the home or they ran the father out. They overcompensate and be overly masculine, still destroying the son or the daughter. You understand? So in the same sense, that can be an untamed. It's like an untamed horse when you don't discipline your child, right? That's heavy, man. Okay, and then we go back to the law. We know what the law says about stubborn and stubborn children that don't listen to the law of the Lord. Right? Let's go to Deuteronomy 21. All right, Deuteronomy 21. Let's read that and see what that says. Deuteronomy chapter 21. All right. Verse 18. It says, if a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, meaning discipline him, try to, raise him and tell him the way to go in life, will not hearken unto them. Verse 19, it says, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out unto the elders of his city and unto the gate of his place, and they shall say unto the elders of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Verse 21, and all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shalt thou put away evil from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. You see that? That's how we used to conduct ourselves, and that's the law, that we kept. Young men will be stoned to death for being rebellious towards their parents. You would die out here, right? The brother just brought that out, man. The brother just brought that out the other day, right? You would die out here if you being disrespectful, dishonoring your parents, And this is what we need. We need to come back to that. Not in the sense of just killing our young brothers, but having a sense of honor and take it serious. That's a serious thing. And teach them. It could be that way, man. Some of these parents taking out their kids. some of these parents do take out their kids because they can't control them. You know, they trying to come back to the house when they grown people and they grown children forcing their way back into the house, and their mom and dad can't do nothing, or their grandparents can't do nothing about it. You know, selling weed out your mom and dad house. You telling them they can't kick you out. Some people do take out their kids. Right? But this was according to the law. This is what we practiced. Right? Because we took raising our children seriously. And today we don't, man. Today we don't take raising our children serious. We don't take the outcome. Many of us, I'll say, don't take the outcome of our child seriously. You know, it's just a for a lot of us is a paycheck. It's a paycheck with the system. You know, it's a ornament for social media to show social media that, you know, you can make a baby. You know, not that you're an actual mother and you know, you're an honorable mother or father, but that you can produce a child. Right? That's all it really is. But back to Sirach 30:8, it says, "And a horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful." Because again, Proverbs 22, the opening scripture, folly is set in the heart of a child. So he's bound to go off if he has no direction. In the same sense with a wild horse, man. Right? Verse 9, Sirach 30:9 says, "Conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness." Right? So that's one thing you can't play with your child too much, man. You know, it ain't nothing wrong with playing with your son and having joy of your child when they're young. But when time for discipline and correction comes, make sure it's definite. You know, there's no iffy about your discipline. You know, your son think you playing, because oftentimes I do that too. You know, sometimes my son, he think I'm playing. When I be serious, I gotta check him. I'm like, listen, I'm not playing with you. This is not a playing, laughing matter. Sometimes he still laugh and flop his body around when I'm not, you know, I gotta grip him up. You know, and I don't have to hit my son often. You know, it was only maybe a handful of times. I can count on one hand how many times I hit my son. At this point now, he breaks down at the point of me even just gripping him up in a serious manner. You know, and he knows I'm not playing. So you don't have to sit there and beat the hell out of your kid and just be angry and stern with him all day. So, you know, kids need love and affection, man. Kids need to know that, you know, you care about them. Not just in a disciplining sense, because sometimes when you discipline your child too much or you coddle them way too much, you know, they end up being the most wicked, you know, ones out here. You know, and if you've been to college, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of these young girls, they've been the most coddled, and, you know, they can't go anywhere. Curfew at 17, curfew at 18, 19 until they go to college. They going all out. And when I say all out, I mean all out. Everything gonna be out. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't coddle your child too much. Right? So it says, "Conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness." I'm reading that in GNT. It says, "If you pamper your child and play with him, he will be a disappointment and a source of grief." That's cut and clean, right? Verse 10. It says, "Laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him, and lest thou gnash thy teeth at the end." Right? Laugh not with him now, and one day you will have to cry over him, grinding your teeth in regret. Now, you can laugh with your son, right? You can laugh and, you know, have a good time, but not to the extremity where you're just a stern person and you just don't have no sense of joy around your son. Just always angry. You know, a lot of young men tend to resent men like that. You know, my father was always angry to speak. They don't speak highly of you when you die, man. When you pass away, niggas like that, you don't get spoken highly of from your child. Little do you know, because you're dead. Right? You don't want to be overly, you know, just unnecessarily stern. You just don't smile. Your son come home, you grilling him. Sit down, do your homework. When you get done, you eat dinner, and then it's time to go to bed. No games. Every single day? You tell me you're doing that every day. Right? That's where you gotta use discernment, man. Right? Use discernment. Be you. Be who you are. Right? Have joy in your son. Right? But in a sense, you don't want to laugh with him too much. Don't be his friend. Right? There's too many son to son, father to son friendly relationship, or daughter to mother friendly relationship. We friends, we hanging out, we going out together. You see that relationship crumble oftentimes once they get older. And the lack of respect the daughter has for the mother, and vice versa with the father and the son. Right? Verse 11, it says, "Give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies." Right? GNT, it says, don't give him freedom while he is young, and don't overlook what he does wrong. Right? And that's right. You give a young man freedom, what he gonna go do? Just like that horse. He gonna go buck and do whatever the hell he want in the world. Right? You give him too much freedom, he gonna end up in the ditch somewhere. He gonna want to be cool with the coolest kids. He gonna hang out with the prettiest girls. Somebody might set him up. Especially if you don't teach him, the truth of this world and how wicked it can be out here. You just give them freedom. He gonna get stuck up out here. Right? Especially if you overlook what he does. If you do something wrong, you gotta correct that thing. You gotta correct your kid. You catch a kid out here with the young boys that's doing all the folly out here. You pull up to the school, you may have to grip him up. What you doing around these young? Then I tell you, don't be, get your ass out. You know what I mean? Especially if your son honors you and respects you. He's gonna be fearful. Once he see that car pulling around the corner, his heart is gonna drop to his butt, man. His stomach gonna drop. Right? He gonna be damn near shit his pants when he see you, because he knows the type of man you are, and he respects that. It's not like he's gonna see you and, man, here come this nigga. Man, it's some kids that's like that. Man, here come my dad, man. Come on, y'all, let's go, y'all. And you calling his dad calling you. Yo, you hear me calling you, boy? Man, I'm out with my friends, man. Leave me alone. Right? Some situations that's like that. And that's a sad thing. It's a very sad thing, man. Right? Verse 12. And I'm going to have this be the last one. I'll make this too long. It says, "Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee, and so bring sorrow to thine heart." So discipline your kids, man. That's basically what this lesson is about. You need to be involved in your child's life as a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man. In your son's life. Not to be out here, robbing each other's, the brother sister on the street that's trying to get by, doing stuff like this,
Rachel
man.
King. Sound like son.
Stealing cars.
It's about 5:03. Still
sad,
following
man.
breaking news at this hour. This was
Unconscious at this time. The driver of the stolen vehicle also fled the scene. We're told there was a different car that was actually following that first initial car, the stolen car. When the driver got out of the car after the crash, he hopped into that Volkswagen and then sped off. So we're talking about multiple people injured. That passenger, again, in that stolen vehicle, still in critical condition. The person that was hit in the van is the 31-year-old business owner. He was trapped inside that minivan, and we're told that there was some money that he had had inside that van that was stolen as well. So police now investigating that part of the whole crash. So we're talking about one stolen car that hit a van, which then hit the SEPTA bus, sending it into the PNC Bank behind me. So such a mess this morning. All of it captured in real time on the cameras right on the corner of Rising Sun Avenue and Uras Street. And it's just been such a ridiculous drill.
Crazy, man. This causing a bunch of chaos. You know, could have killed that man. Could have killed that man in that van, man. You know, causing all this chaos, being a nigger out here on the streets. You understand? Like it's just unnecessary, man. You know, we gotta be in our kids' lives, man. We have to be, right? I'm gonna read that in the GNT real quick. I'm gonna finish these last two verses out. Whip him while he is still a child, and make him respect your authority. If you don't, he will be stubborn and disobedient and cause you nothing but sorrow. So discipline your son and give him work to do, or else he will be an embarrassment to you. Right? This GNT is cold, man. But that's pretty much the lesson today, man, because these type things need to be taught more amongst our community, amongst our people, and be taken seriously, because these young kids, these are actual lives out here that are being lost. You know, they're lost. They're losing their lives while they're still alive. You know, they spiritually dead. That's one. And if nobody can correct them but the dead police force, they pretty much lost, man. They dead already. They the walking dead, man. The damn dry bones out here. You know? So we have to be involved in our kids' lives on a day-to-day, man. You know? Stop coming out there and having random sex with women that you know you don't want to take care of a child by her if you get her pregnant. You understand? We need to be involved. It's like, this has to stop, man. This has to stop. You know, this folly has to stop, man. You know, especially in the city. But again, man, we already know through the scriptures, you know, 2/3 just ain't gonna get it. The wicked ain't gonna understand. But we gonna do what we can do for who's gonna take heed and who's gonna listen to the law of the Lord, man. Right? And I'm gonna close out with one verse. No, I said that last verse I was gonna close out, but I'll close out with this. Proverbs 28:9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be an abomination. So when your son and your daughter out here dying on the streets, dying in car accidents, dying getting shot by each other or in the streets, when you don't take heed to this law that's in this holy Bible, which is our records as so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, our history book, right? The book that the Lord has given to us, right, for a commandment and for a law, this book of life, right? If you don't take heed to that, your prayer is an abomination, right? Because a lot of people have a zeal of God not according to knowledge, right? Pursuing the book of Romans. But they, you know, you want to pray. A lot of our people love to pray and throw up the prayers and, oh God, and all this stuff, and give all this praise. But, you know, if you don't take heed to this law, like how could this not benefit us as a people, right? The Hebrew Israelites out there on the street teaching you this, you know, how could this not be a benefit, right? But our people will turn their ear. They don't want to hear that. You know, we racist. We this, we that. You know, we don't love all people. You know, how could I hate the white man? You understand? All this folly, man. Right? How can this not benefit us as a people? Taking the life of our child that we bring into this world seriously. How can it not, man? That's all I got to say today. But with that, you know, this is a quick lesson for y'all. You know what I mean? I hope y'all took heed. I hope y'all learned something. And, you know, be in your kids' lives, man. You know, these young boys out here in Philly is tearing ish up, man. I don't want to use too much profanity, but they tearing it up, man. Look at this. You know, hit the bus. I mean, look at that car, man. That car is demolished, man. And somebody made it out of that. You know, hit a businessman, taking care of business. You know, took the money out of there too. Like, come on, man. Sad, man. But, you know, that's the lesson, y'all. It's your brother Yeshaya.